I recently see in an ACL recovery hub that somebody had been quoted £5,000 for LET surgery alongside their ACL surgery. So today's video is going to be everything you need to know about an LET, what it is, who's it for, who's it's not for, and should you really be paying for it as an extra. First things first, what is an LET? A lateral articular tenodesis, okay? It's a piece that they take from your IT band from the outside of your knee, they wrap it underneath the LCL and staple it back up onto your thigh. What this does is stops the knee from rotating even more, protecting the ACL graft, and the studies that have been done on it has actually been really, really impressive. However, they're not for everybody. They should be offered based on criteria, and some surgeons are making huge, great big scars, which is totally unnecessary. But let's get into who is a candidate for a LET. Jesus, get your words out. Who's a candidate for LET surgery? So there is a criteria-based checklist that surgeons should be working from, okay? I say should because I know some people are just being offered them like they're being done for fun. So if you're under the age of 20, you would be a candidate. If you have hypermobility, i.e. your legs, your arms, hands are all hypermobile, then you would be a candidate. Increased tibial slope, large meniscal tear, play explosive pivoting sports like wakeboarding, skiing, snowboarding, stunt actors, things like that, or an ACL revision, okay? So that's the key clinical criteria for somebody getting an ACL surgery. And like I said at the start of this video, some people are just being offered them like it's a, you know, like you go to Chinese, you get your Chinese, don't you? And then they give you the prawn crackers for free. It's an added extra. Like, no, this is an actual big medical procedure that you should only be getting if you actually need it. You're not getting it done for fun. The downside to an LET, like I said, is the scars can be big. However, I'm going to put some of the scars on the screen that's not a good example, and that's good examples of LET scars. Surgeon who I work with, Mr. Tricker, his scars is literally 5 centimeters, but you can get an extra long scar on the outside of your knee. That's surgeon dependent, but not everybody wants that, okay? Some people don't want that extra scar. You can also experience more swelling and a hematoma on the outside of your leg post-surgery. And again, I'll put a photo of my knee up on the screen. That's like an egg on the outside of your leg. That does stay. Mine stayed for about 6 weeks. It got gradually smaller, and my knee was completely, you know, without swelling within like 8 weeks, but it definitely took longer. It just remained there, which is normal, okay? But it can inhibit your quadriceps a little bit as well. So when you're squeezing your quads, it's slightly harder because you do have that extra swelling and also that extra interference with the quad, the IT band. So it can make it a little bit harder to wake your quads up afterwards. In other terms of rehab, generally it doesn't affect you. Your rehab principles are going to remain the same as if it was just a straightforward ACL. Don't load the ITB too soon, which you shouldn't be doing anyway, because if you do, you can find that you'll get an irritation, but it's very rare. I personally haven't had any patients to date that have had any complications following an LET. And I think I have had a few people message me on Instagram that have said they've had problems, but me personally, and using the surgeons I use, I've not had a problem. So you wouldn't want to get an LET if you do have ITB issues as well. That's probably something that you should consider. So if you've had particularly outside of the knee pain for whatever reason, probably avoid it. But your surgeon should ask questions about that anyhow. In terms of cost, this is what blew my mind the other day, is when people are saying that they're being quoted an extra £5,000 to add an LET, and surgeons are saying, you know, do you want an LET? Like, I actually can't get my head around that. I cannot understand how, yeah, like I said earlier, like it's like you're going out for a meal. If you want the extra, you're going to pay for the extra because you want to eat it. But, you know, this is your knee, this is a medical procedure. You shouldn't be being asked. It's like if a surgeon said, do you want a little scar or a big scar? Like, the surgeon should know what's best for you and your knee, and it should be based on clinical criteria. If Mr. Tricker said to me a LET wasn't needed or wasn't a good idea for me, I'd have said no problem, but it was a good idea because I was young, and also I am a little bit hypermobile and I do quite explosive pivoting sports. So that's why we did it. It was based on criteria, clinical criteria. So if you've been offered it, make sure that you're getting it for the right reasons, and don't just be adding it for the fun of it, for like it's an extra, because it's really not. Rehab pretty much stays the same. And generally that's it. LETs are becoming way more popular. Within my complete ACL recovery guide, it's basically made for an LET, because like I said, it's becoming more and more popular, or more and more people are being offered it, because more and more surgeons are learning how to do it properly. I think that's the key word there as well, that it wasn't offered because surgeons just didn't know how to do it, whereas now it's being done more routinely because people are hitting that, obviously, that clinical criteria, because sadly a lot of people who tear their ACL end up with large meniscal tears and things like that. So it's being done more routinely, but hopefully for those that are passing that clinical criteria, and the ACL recovery guide takes into account all of those types of things anyhow. But I hope you found this video useful. Lots of people ask me about an LET, or kind of don't know whether to get one, what to do. I hope that has cleared it up if you're in that boat. And if you've had one, please let me know down below how you're getting on. And I know some people that's had a normal ACL and then had ACL and LET, they often notice quite a difference. But do let me know. Please, as always, like and subscribe this video, because it will tell me to keep making them. I will see you in the next one.